take it up from there.
Thank you very much, awesome facilitator. I'd like to welcome all the parents, especially fathers that are here. I know that we've waited for a while. I must apologize because time and money, as they say. And having said that, I'd like to thank you for taking time to also be connected. As you are all aware that this actually is the first of the series that we're going to be having at a later time. You are all aware that on the platform, the Father's platform, we were bothered by the number of devotional materials that were coming up, and we need to also have some materials to learn and to equip ourselves periodically. This is the first of the series. It's bound to be like this, and that is the reason for the change. Once there's a change, it might not go down well. But all the same, I'd like to welcome us. I'm sure that most of our wives have also gone for the Mother's Day celebration. I recalled yesterday when I was talking to my wife, she said they have like about over 125 mothers already at the facility yesterday evening, which means that they are in for a treat and they are going to be learning so much at this session. So why can't we too have a time to learn? That is the more reason why it's even a very good timing for us to actually have a time of learning. I'd like to welcome our guest, the facilitator. He is a very calm man. You can see how he's been waiting for us. Even with the fact that we have a very few audience, he has still decided to go ahead with the class. Please, let's welcome him. And then without wasting more time, I'll just give a short prayer and then we take it off from there. For those of us that are here, we can still prompt our friends, fathers who are also on the platform who are not connected. We can still prompt them privately and help them to see that a class is going on right now and it's going to be very, very beneficial to them all. Let's go to God in prayer. Immortal God, invisible God, Father, we are so grateful for a time like this. We thank you for the gift of life because it's only those who are alive that can give praises to you. Thank you so much, God, for all that you have granted unto us, that you have counted us worthy to be parents here on this surface of this earth. It's a privilege, God, and we cannot take it for granted, God. Father, we ask that you be with us this morning, even as we're going to be adding knowledge to our knowledge. Help us, God Almighty, to take it to heart so that we can be the true Father you want us to be, God. I know, God, for sure that just like Job, he was concerned about his family, that even perhaps his children have fallen into sin. He became the priest, the prophet, and the leader, God. Help us, God Almighty, to take up this role and to do it so well, God. Help us, God Almighty, that we will not renege in our responsibility or even push our responsibility to our wives, but rather we will take the lead because everything, God, is upon our shoulder, God. This session that we're about to have, kindly, God, allow us not to be distracted, but rather to give it all our attention so that it will be much more beneficial to us all. Be it our other fathers who are yet to be connected, please get God, prompt them so that they will be connected and they will be able to also learn and better their family, God. We ask and pray all these in your son's precious name we have prayed. So over to you, great facilitator.
All right, thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adefolu, and welcome everyone that are here today in the live audience. And for those who are going to be listening to this recording, maybe in months or maybe years to come, I would like to congratulate you all and just encourage you and to say that what you are doing is commendable. Trying to get fathers together, even the mothers, even though what the women are doing to us, we say that is Ojoro Council. The women have gone out to over 120 women. That's incredible. I wish we have 120 men here. So our wives are having a great time, chilling out for the weekend. And the men are here to also learn, to add to our learning. So whichever way, we are going to have a great time. So for those who are not here, this video recording for today will be made available to you so that nobody will lose out in any way. Just a brief introduction about myself, who I am. My name again is Emmanuel Emme. I have a little page of introduction here. I'm a teacher, so this is school. I'm a teacher. I'm an evangelist. I'm an integrative life coach. I'm an artist. I'm a public speaker.
The network is freezing over there. So let's just give him some time. I'm sure he's trying to switch over its network. Let's give him some time. The network is freezing.
Apologies for that slight break in transmission. I just discovered the internet just went off, so I've just switched from my Wi-Fi to my mobile internet here. So hopefully that that should carry us through this segment. All right. Okay. So just like I was saying, I want to congratulate everyone who made this choice to do this. What you are doing is for the good of your family, and I'm sure your children, your wife will truly be happy. Normally, when I start a workshop like this, I start with an icebreaker, and since we've already used enough time, so I'm not going to bother with the icebreaker. But just to let you know what the icebreaker, really is, I usually ask parents to write down their favorite hobbies, what your hobby was when you were growing up. Maybe you can even be typing it out right here. I won't give you an opportunity to unmute and speak, but you can type it out. What was your favorite hobby? I know for some of you it might be soccer, playing soccer, right? That was not mine, definitely. My favorite hobby, mine was drawing. When I was growing up. I drew on everything I saw on the ground. My first set of drawing was on the floor. Whenever it rains and the floor is wet, we just go there and draw. What about your favorite movie when you were growing up? Mine was Bruce Lee, even though they were all Asian movies, Chinese and Indian. We didn't understand a word of what they were saying, but we made out what we thought they were saying, and that is how we developed very strong emotional intelligence. We could read minds, so to speak. We could read minds. We could lip read, and the greatest technology during in my own time was kites, flying kites. I love making kites. I had to learn to make kites. Then I learned how to make traps for crabs. I used to make all these things, bangolo, so those were the days, for us. So you could see that we are talking about a generational change. We have the various generation, and for some of you, maybe it was those banga we used to do. I don't know if you did it. We'll get the tail part of a spark plug. We'll break it up, then we'll screw it down to a piece of wood. Then we'll not etch out carbon from the match stick. They will not put there, they will strike it on the wall and bah, that made a lot of noise. So this was the technology. So you can imagine what we had at those times, the limited technology we had. Those were the days when television opened at 4 o'clock, when you have to patiently watch the national anthem and the flag, and you only have these children belts. And right now, the children belt is like 24/7 every day. So it's a generational issue that we're looking at. So what's the generation? Let me just say, since I'm a teacher and you are parents and your children are in school, so let me school you a bit, if you don't mind. A generation is a group of people born around the same time and raised around the same place. That's the generation. Most of us, I believe, are probably in the same generation. Some of us are within the same generation. Some of us are a little bit, outside that generation. That there are people who are born, they call them birth cohorts. They belong to the same gang, the same group. And this generation, they exhibit similar characteristics. They have similar preferences in life. They share the same values, and over a lifetime, you see them with the same thing. Just a few days ago, on Sunday evening, I drove all the way down to Ikorodu, to witness the birthday of a friend of mine, Mr. Bakari, a friend of mine who we actually knew each other way back from primary school, I think from primary 4 or thereabouts. So he was the youngest amongst us in those days. He was very smallish, but right now he's a big boy now. So he just turned 50. And just going there, I saw friends I've not seen since I left secondary school in 1988. I have not seen most of them since 1988. So we belong to the same generation. We enjoy the same thing, the same jokes, and the kind of music they were playing were the old school, Soul Train style. Things that if you play today, our children will probably not understand it. Our children are more of, the Wizkid and the Naira Marley generation and everything. But that was like Gap Band, Lakeside. As a matter of fact, I have a turntable just by my side here that I got for my birthday. So I began playing, the record, the phonograph, and my children were amazed. Just give me a second. So my kids were blown away when I went into my store, and I brought out dozens of this phonograph. I brought out dozens of these, and I began playing it, and they were so amazed how the pin, and how does this thing produce music, and I told them, I said, watch, this is a cool thing about it. I said, after this side is finished playing, I'm going to turn the other side, and they were like, whoa, and I felt so good about myself. That was technology. I grew up in a time where we have the 8-track before cassettes became very popular. There was the 8-track, if you remember the 8-track, and everything. So that that's what we are. But however, generational classification is only used in this presentation just to define and explain, but it's not a box, so we don't put anybody in any particular box. So I'm going to be sharing some more about trend of various generation. There are 3 things mostly that really shape a generation. You think about parenting, which is why we are here. We are parents. So parenting shapes a generation. Another thing that shapes generation is technology, and finally economics. When I share with people, the favorite snack, if you can type out your favorite snack in those days, were, like, listen, things like balewa. I don't know if you remember balewa, Econo Gowan, fine ice, condensed ice cream. We want to tie in nylon bag and freeze overnight, and they sell to us. Pito, which we drank pito almost every day, after school. Tamfini, those are the snacks. But today we talk about, if I don't have pizza, what's pizza, for crying out loud? When you have puff puff, when you have all of those stuff, we have all those gala. Those gala, not gala of today, gala those days that you have to unwrap the flour to not eat the meat. Those were the days. And they have all these buns and this short bread. They used to call it digbe, if you understand what that means. When you eat one and just drink water, you are set for the whole day. So think about the trends that we had in those days. And think about the new trend. So what's the new trends today? Things like the ripped jeans, or what they call the crazy jeans. Today we have things that we never dreamt about. In our days, technology will be witchcraft. Basically, there will be witchcraft. Even throughout my college days, a lot of us, our university and college days, there was no internet. I remember typing my projects I had to give somebody to help me type a project, and it was done on an Olympia typewriter. You know, those one that you hit and you know, each time I pick up my project, I look at it, I feel so embarrassed. I tell myself what I can actually do today with a computer, with all the graphs I could have incorporated and every single thing. So today we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, you know, we have Pinterest, we have WhatsApp, we have LinkedIn, we have all the, I mean, some of them, I hope you are on LinkedIn as a parent here. And of course, in our days, it was stars like Muda Lawal, Aloysius Atuegu, you know, Amnesia Maka of Africa, Shegun Degbami, Emmanuel Okala. But today, our names of clubs that people who have never visited, you know, we are talking about Real Madrid. You know, who knew Real Madrid? It was the Green Eagles, you know, in those days. In those days, if your parents was addicted to playing pool, what they call pool, you were seen as irresponsible, right? But today, people play pool without leaving their home. They play pool on their phone. They call it Naira bets, Niger bets. Those days was, and the name has come back. It's called Baba Jebu. You know, all those things about, think about the games that we used to play. We used to draw lines on the floor. You know, those lines that you jump, hop and jump, hop and jump. We used to do skipping rope. You know, we were very fit. One of the things that, you know, that defined our generation or the elder generation, we're very fit. But today we are in the days of the PlayStation, from the Mario Sega game, you know, the PS1, PS2, and all this or whatever, hundreds of thousands of naira, you know, being spent in all of those stuff. You know, think about e-learning. You know, today, just like we are here right now, I'm in my bedroom, and I'm speaking to most of us. Maybe you're also in your bed, maybe you're lying down. If you turn on your video, you'll probably see what you're doing and where you are. You know, but in our days, we have to close school, we have to trek to lesson, you know, all those lessons. Go to lesson where they will hit you know, rod on a pipe, pong, 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 lesson time, everybody will run. You know, but right now we have e-learning. I can't believe it. I finished you know, a master's degree program, you know, without stepping into the school or that I am online. I started a PhD, you know, without stepping into the school premises of the school that I'm doing. So the world has really changed. So I'm saying all this is to help us to, you know, to really appreciate. In those days, we used to go Yafisi, we call Yafisi, you know, go and queue. But right now, food is delivered to you. I was chatting up with a friend in Akwa Ibom, a friend I've never met. You know, we belong to a group together, and there was something I did for the group, and they were very impressed. Like, what can I do? What can I do? I said, that's what you can do. I mean, Lagos said you are there in Akwa Ibom. I said, what I really like right now is ice cream. Really, he said, what kind of ice cream? I said, Cold Stone ice cream. So I sent the, you know, the link of the Jumia you know, stuff to this my friend, and this my friend all the way in Akwa Ibom ordered ice cream, Cold Stone ice cream, and within 30 minutes it was delivered to my house. And that is the world that we're living in. We used to live in a world where it takes hours to cook a meal. Right now, Indomie noodles, just put it together in 2 minutes and it's done. And so we are learning virtually. In those days, you have to learn how to make friends one-on-one. You have to learn how to toast girls. You know, you have to learn how to you know, the pickup line. But right now, people just swipe. It's just a matter of like, emoji, and everything is set. So our world is different. I remember those days I used to go trek down the streets and go and stay at the bus stop looking for a taxi. That because my, you know, my mom, maybe she's sick or whatever, then I'll have to convince the taxi to follow me all the way down to my street. I mean, like, I'm talking about almost a mile away, or in half a mile. Follow me, they will not go. Right now, I sit in my room, I order Bolt or Uber. I go wherever I want to go. What about the hairstyle we used to have in those days? Remember the Bora Johnson, the brush head, girls follow me. Remember the Boy Alinko, bevel hair, Mike Tyson. Right now, those things are coming up. These are the days where you have to mask up, you know. So all these things I'm sharing for us to appreciate the generation that our children are living in. Things are not easy for them also. They are trying to navigate all these new dynamics, all this paradigm, you know, that's constantly shifting for them every single day. Now, let me take you into another world of generation. I looked at the study of generation, and I found out in the world at large, there are various generations, like what we call the lost generation from 1890 to 1915, the interbellum generation, the greatest generation, they call them, that generation of 10, that generation that witnessed the First World War period. Then you have the silent generation between 1925 to 1945. Then you have the baby boomers. After the Second World War, there seems to be a heightened level of births. In fact, including in Nigeria, I studied it out also in Nigeria. More babies were born in the world than any time in history. And of course, you won't blame them. People just came out from a world war that they thought was going to be the end of the world. So people were just getting married and having kids. Then, of course, they have the baby bust from the baby boomers. We have the Generation X, which, by the way, generation that some of us, people like me, belong to. People don't understand Generation X because we're after the war and everything. The Generation Y and the millennial, which most of our children probably fall. I have a 20, almost going to 23-year-old son, and a 21-year-old daughter, all born in the wake of the 2000. My son was born exactly year 1999. Okay, 1999. So all those things are things that we need to learn. We're going to learn the peculiarities of this generation. The millennials, the Generation Z, from Y to Z, generation born between 1996 and 2010, and this Generation Alpha. I took time in my research to also try to come up with generation in Nigerian context. And I looked at the Third Republic coup d'etat generation, people born 1983. And of course, these are the Generation Y, and of course, the millennial. Some of us are the post-Civil War, generation. Now, I'm saying this because we have to work hard as parents, because believe it or not, this generation that we are looking at right now are the generation that is going to form the workforce everywhere in the world. If you look at the diagram that I'm showing right now, from the first diagram, to the right, that has this green from the head to the shoulder level. Those are the builders. By 2015, then you have the baby boomers, which is what we have right now. Then Generation X, which is the gray, Generation Y, and Generation Z. As time goes on, we are now in 2022. By 2020, we found out that the baby boomers are fading out. They are retiring and they are fading out. And by 2025, which is just 3 years from now, we're going to have fewer and fewer of those baby boomers. And we are going to, by 2030, Generation X will be the one that that is on, and we're going to start witnessing generation. So if we don't understand this generation, if we don't set them on a right path, they might probably be our downfall. Okay, we are downfall. But all is not all gloomy. There is some pluses in this Generation X, and I want us to look at those. Generation Y, where most of our children belong to. They are very innovative. So let's give it up for them. They are probably are more innovative than us. They are very creative. They think outside the box. Your children are very connected. Praise God for the internet. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on WhatsApp. They are fun-loving. In fact, everything for them should just be fun. They are fun-loving. They are very adventurous. They have a fulfillment. Fulfillment is actually a motivation for them. They have fulfillment as a motivation for them. They will work long hours, like my son works around the clock. As an IT person, a programs developer and writer and everything. They work long hours, but not at work. Okay, like how we define work. We have to go to work, but they will stay at home and they are at work. This generation is very globalized in terms of their language. Right now the language of the generation coming is not going to be English, sorry, but a lot of them are going to be speaking Mandarin. Okay, they're going to be speaking Mandarin. That's Chinese. And my kids, started, learning Chinese when they were in primary school. Can you imagine? Because China is taking over. Now, beyond Mandarin and Chinese, they are going to be learning a language that you and I cannot even comprehend, the computer language. And that's language that any of them can speak. No matter where you're from, they can write the code in C. Some of you are maybe you are parents here, you are a computer guru, so you understand what I'm talking about. They can write in different keys and they can read all those dots and asterisks and things that you cannot make sense of. So they speak that language. They have the internet, something that we never had. I never had it in school. And we were the days of television opening at 4 o'clock and closing at 9 after the news. But right now they have cable TV. They can watch events happening all over the world. They have internet television. They are very tribal. This generation is very tribal. When I say tribal, I mean they have their own groups. For example, people are Arsenal fans. In my house, there used to be a quarrel against the Blues. My daughter was, she's Chelsea, the Blues, and my daughter and my son is Real, Mama Drill. They are very tribal. Yet they celebrate diversity. Diversity is what they like. In our own days, we are stuck in we are boxed. But this generation, they are very unboxed. They have passive participation. They are not as engaging as we were. And one of the things that they are losing right now is social skills. You and I grew up where we have to learn how to speak, talk, engage, learn things. But right now, sometimes they are very passive. They are very mobile. They are multitaskers. They do 3-4 things at the same time. Remember our days, we have to patiently wait for a movie to start, and we are glued to the movie. Today, they are watching movie and they're on their phone, or like, why are you doing that? They go to cinema, they are busy tweeting, they are busy whatever. They are so distracted. So they are taskers. And what happens is that they're going to burn out very fast. Our children, if they don't take, they're going to burn out very fast. The mortality rates is going to really go down. In our days, people live up to 100. My grandfather was over 100 and every single thing. But right now, people are going to die young because they're going to burn fast because they don't sleep enough. Because sleep is where you rejuvenate. So this generation is very ambitious. Your children are very ambitious. 2 years ago, my daughter woke up to me and said she wants to buy a piece of land in Lekki. And she was very serious about it. Then I introduced that to somebody who was selling properties. And when she heard the amount, she said, you know what, okay, can you just give me like a small, like a 1 by 1, like a 1 foot? Can I just buy 1 foot, just small, so I can put my name there? So they are very, very ambitious. They have new perspective in life, and they are very open to new ideas. That's what they are. A lot of them want to be leaders. They are very entrepreneurial. Our days, we went to school so that we can become workers for somebody else. But many of our kids are very, in my house, for example, they are very entrepreneurial. They believe that they are special. So they definitely believe that they're special. They believe in it. But however, with all these pluses, there's also what I call the challenge of this generation. Before we talk about social media, right? Let's get to meet our children. Let's get to know our children. This generation, they are very entitled. They are very entitled. They seek recognition and fame. For them, that is what really counts. They want to be recognized. They want to be heard. They want to be famous. Can you imagine somebody having, I have 2,000 likes on Facebook. I have 6,000 followers right now on social media. And this person doesn't even have even 2 friends. You don't know they are your friend, but they claim to have all these friends, So they seek fame. Interestingly, they have very short attention span, which, of course, if we are to share, you'll notice that they have very short attention span. They lack focus on one thing. That's zooming in on one thing. They are easily bored. I can't imagine a generation that will be fast forwarding a movie to see what's going to happen at the end. When we like the movie to, they just want to, they are easily bored, they just want to throw it away, throw it away. So, and they also have short-term vision. For many people in the older generation, somebody begins to work and is planning for 35 years of working. They stay in one job for 35 years so that they can retire, which is something very sad, really, if you think about it, so that they can retire. But here people only have short-term vision. They think in the next 6 months, 1 year, that's basically it. That's why they cannot wait learn to go to the market to haggle through prices, to learn to buy meat, oil, pepper, tomato, salt, I mean, different things, whatever. Then trek back from the market, then wash them one by one, boil them individually, cook them. I mean, it takes like 6 hours to prepare food. They will just take their Jumia app and just swipe, and some pizza is delivered to their home, or they just buy. That's why we have all these noodles joints, springing up everywhere where they roast chicken. You have to be very rich to actually buy those. Apart from the Alagoin woman that hawks around the streets, or people that sell rice. This generation, they seek pleasure before success. You just want to enjoy first, and that's why they are getting into a lot of debts. I don't know if you guys have received. I've received a few of those embarrassing SMSs, embarrassing WhatsApp messages with pictures of people who are owing. Because in nowadays, you have to go to a bank, present collateral, sign documents, whatever, every single thing. Right now, you just go on your app and you borrow money. And they just say, all you need is your BVN, whatever. And our children are borrowing money, large sum of money, and they are not paying back. So they are very low in emotional intelligence. They cannot decipher looks, because a lot of times what they use is emoji. They can't even type words. So somebody will type HBD. What is HBD? Happy birthday. In those days we used to construct letter. We used to go to Oshodi. Those guys that sell cards, greeting cards. Then we'll select one coming for 10 kobo, whatever. Then we'll now write all those poems. We'll write all those poems. Our handwritings were very good. These days we don't even know what our children are writing, whether they are scribbling. So there's very low emotional intelligence these days, which is one of the things I teach, emotional intelligence. They have very few deep, meaningful friendships, and they are easily influenced by peers. Very easily, they have very deep friendships. That's why suicide rates in those days we used to say that Nigerians don't commit suicide. I mean, life is. But right now we have our young people committing suicide, jumping off bridges. All over the world is the same thing. People are running into a moving train. They don't have people to talk to. In those days, we sit down in the night and we chat and we tell stories. Hello, story. Even during school, when there is free period, the teacher who is seated right there will ask us to come and tell those stories. And that's how we learn, we socialize. I talked about the low integrity of this generation, very low integrity. They are sometimes seen as lazy. They are skeptical of authority. They don't like people telling them what to do. Very skeptical of authority. Again, because most authorities have actually disappointed them also. They are very postmodern. They go beyond us. They embrace a variety of subcultures. Things that you and I never dreamed about. They are embracing it. We have a lot of same-sex attraction, today, homosexuality, lesbianism. This generation seek instant gratification. They have a very high risk of postmodernism and religious radicalization. Where we are having people, causing trouble in the name of religion, things that we never had in our days. So I haven't said all that, just to really, break the ice, and I hope the ice has been broken. Today, and I hope you're not bored about all this super information. Like I said, I'm a teacher, so I'm going to give you some cool information, and I hope that you will be as attentive as you want your children to be attentive at school. So there are positive use of technology and social media, so it's not all that bad. Social media, I'm very tech savvy. For those who know me, I'm very, very tech savvy. In fact, I'm amongst my peers, I'm probably one of the most techie, of my peers. I love technology. There is positive use of technology and social media. I'm on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on WhatsApp. Obviously, WhatsApp is everyone. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on what do you call it? Pinterest. Some of them you don't even know what they are. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all this stuff. Because of what I do, I need to stay connected with people and to also share what I do. So being competent in a digital age is no longer an option for parents. You need to learn, and the easiest way is to ask your children to teach you. So the way they express themselves is much more different. We express ourselves in a particular way in terms of vocal expression. I remember in those days, we used to sit down and write letter. I used to belong to the World Pen Pal Club. We used to sit down and write letter and go to the mail. The other day, I took my children, I was showing them that metal box you are saying is actually our email. We're like, what does that mean? That's metal box. We used to sit down and write letter, then we would drop it inside it. These are people who are in university. We are at University of Lagos. We're driving across the post office. I say, you see that metal box? That used to be our email. We're like, yeah, we used to put letter. I said, how does it work? You see, we put letter there. Then every evening, a postman, a man will now come, open it, and gather those letters, take them to the post office. Then the following day, they'll sort them out. It can take 6 months for a letter to arrive. I mean, who has that patience today? So our handwritings were very good, and we expressed ourselves in words, in writing, in poems, in plays, in all those stuff. People study theater arts. Today, I'm not saying anybody that study theater arts, to today. So the world has really changed, really. So, and our children are also trying to navigate these changes, happening around them. So today they're having a child, your child is having like 200,000 followers on Twitter, and it's having like 6,000 friends on Facebook. 99.9% of them she doesn't know, or he doesn't even know who they are. And the way they make money is different. Some people will say, what are you doing on your phone? This phone thing, whatever. They're making money. You don't understand. How can somebody make money by just carrying phone? Today, one of the biggest jobs today is being an influencer. An influencer. People on their phone, they have like 200,000 people following them or whatever. Do you know that people pay them to comment on things, to make comments, to advertise on their behalf? In my days, we used to go to a cinema hall and watch Baba Salah, and then on TV was Baba Mero. We watched Feikogbon. Our wrestling was either IWA, which is America, or we watch what do you call it? This wrestling program. They normally have. We watch Eriori Tage, which is the comedy show and everything. We watch Aditu, Tamo, so all those stuff. But today, how do our children, how do they really interact? So if you are an influencer, people pay you for having all those people and you make money. So you are there and you're getting a lot every day, and the older people cannot understand. So everything they do, they are not term it as doing Yahoo Yahoo. It's not Yahoo Yahoo, it's not illegal. That's actually, they make money legally. So you can connect to a global, on a global scale on the internet. So I'm sure some parents are already connected, there. That I teach classes to students. I have my students are scattered all over the world, and I stay in my house and I teach my students in Ghana. I teach my just last week, Saturday afternoon, I spoke to, campus students all over in over 19 countries in Africa, Southern Africa, East Africa, French West Africa, English West Africa, Central Africa, and they could understand what I'm saying. Why? Because on Zoom, even right now on Zoom, you are listening to me on Zoom, you can actually enable language translation. I know, and I bet some of you don't know that. So while I was there speaking in English, my French audience could actually understand what I said, because there was transcripts automatically, and everything. So those are some incredible things that our children have. However, I also counsel people using the internet. I look at their mental well-being. So internet has removed the boundaries. Like I'm going to be counseling somebody in Southern Africa. I just communicated with somebody I have a friend in Kuwait, that I mentor, and I've never seen him before. The highest I've done is saying whatever. So let's embrace the great things. Our children are having a time of their life. So there is development of communication skills. The people learn languages right now. Can you imagine? I'm communicating with a friend in Abidjan who doesn't speak a word of English, and I don't speak French apart from a few words, whatever. And I'm writing letters, to my friend. And this friend we've not met, and if I figured out, how can you speak such? He said my French was very academic, very unknown to him. I was using Google Translate. I was simply typing all this stuff on Google, click translate to French, and boom. and my friend has it, whatever. It was until he figured out that this guy, there's something that he's doing. So there's so many positives about, today we can campaign for social justice. Remember what happened just a few years ago in the NSAS? Everything was put together using Twitter. And that's why the insecure adults went ahead and just shut down Twitter because of the power of Twitter. When you tweet, when some of those people tweet, not just people in Nigeria, people all over the world, get to know it, they're following them. And of course, because the elections are coming next year, so they have to unban Twitter. You say sometimes we can be so selfish. Rather than us understanding this generation, we try to clamp down on them. I have stayed in my house and I have campaigned for people in the Middle East. I campaigned for people in China, people who have been maltreated. I've raised money, GoFundMe, for people who are sick, who have been devastated by hurricane, just by staying in my house and doing all those stuff. So this generation has a very good something. Now, let's look at the risk. Now we talked about all the good stuff, and I like doing this so that you don't just think, oh, it's the devil's tool, social media. Now, there are some risks, actually, like anything in life, even drinking water. I have a cup of water here. Too much water can choke you. You can drown in water. Electricity is good, but you can electrocute you. Money is great, but money has divided homes and every single thing. So there are health hazards here. There are also some moral hazard. If you want to add spiritual hazard also, there is financial management hazard. There is educational hazard. There is social hazard. There is family hazard also in social media. So it's for us to begin to learn them. Many years ago, even before the time of social media, all we had was just SMS. I remember talking to some college students on the University of Lagos. I was advising them. I said, you know what? I wish some of you guys would just go and study physiotherapy. I told them that in years to come, physiotherapists will make a lot of money. And they said, how? I said, because we are always, this was before Twitter. This was before Twitter. This was before WhatsApp. Just browse on internet. I said, because there's going to be a lot of arthritis of the thumb. There's going to be a lot of neck, your C-section. Your head is as heavy as a bowling ball. Some of you have done bowling before. I love bowling, by the way. There's a lot of health hazard because your head is suspended just by this very flexible. And each time you bend, you are exerting a lot of weight. So have you seen that most of our children curve? When they walk, they curve. When they're in a place, they are always this way. So I encourage some of them to carry their backpack in the front. I say, why don't you carry your backpack in the front so I can help you to at least stand straight. So there's going to be a lot of screen effects on their eyes. Even for me as a teacher who has been doing a lot of teaching online, whatever, they have a lot of effect on my eyes. So my doctor, there's this 20-20-20 rule that when you walk for 20 minutes staring on the screen, you look away to something else for like 20 minutes, then you walk around for 20 minutes, then you come around. I won't be able to do that here so that because I'm teaching straight. But I do move. I have a flexible seat that I have here because of my back also. So all these things and many more are some of the things. So there are going to be some hazard. Let me see if I can show you a picture that I have here for just illustration purpose. Where is my share screen? Okay, there you are. All right, I click here and I click there and my screen is being shared. Okay. So you can see the neck always staring at the eyes is going to have a lot of effects. Then the posture of no, I know it's for our children, but for us, even adults that are here, look at when your head is at 0 degrees, you actually have about 10 to 12 pounds, 20 to 12 pounds of weight that's exerted here. When it's tilted 15 degrees, you're actually exerting about 24 pounds of weight. When it's 30 degrees, excuse me, let me take a drink. And it's 30 degrees increases to 40 pounds. When it's 45, it's like having like a weight of 49 pounds. When it's 60 degrees, about 60 pounds. You can imagine, so it really damages. So texting neck is what people will develop as we go. So in those days when we see people with hunchback, we're like, abuke, very, very rare. But right now, we're going to have a lot of people who have texting neck. So, and it can happen to both parents and children. So it's not just for, your children, even for us parents, you are also not, you are also, all I say, you are not immune, to do. So watch it. In recent, I've begun to watch, those posture, that I take. So I deliberately, I lie flat. I deliberately do this every now and then. I look up and everything. So there's also sleep disorder, believe it or not. We're living in a world. You remember those days when you wake up around 7, okay? Wake up around 7, between 7 and 8, you've had your bath, you've had maybe small scrap to eat, you walk to school, and you're going to get to school before 8. Those days they say 8 o'clock is that time for school. But do you know that these days, I went for a retreat in February in a place, and in Ogun State, and I saw a school bus. So I went out for a walk at 5 o'clock in the morning. I went out for a walk, my exercise, 5 o'clock, and I saw a school bus in the estates where the resort is, picking up children for school, and I felt so sorry for them. So if those children are picked up at 5 o'clock, what time do they wake up? And these children will go to school, of course, because they school far, there's traffic and everything. And then they'll be in school till 2 o'clock. Then they'll be prepped in school. They'll be after school, lesson. They'll come home. There's a lesson teacher at home. What time do they have to socialize? So parents, I'm talking to you right now. What time do your children have to socialize? I banned that one in my home. We didn't do that in my home. Say, sorry, you come from school, you go and rest. Don't worry, you will not fail. And some of you are probably wondering the kind of person I am, but that's it. Because I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer. I can't be saying one thing and be doing otherwise. My kids never attended all this summer school, where now if you are a DANSOL staff or a proprietor, listen to me. I'm not saying this to whatever, but that's just my own something. Listen, when there's long vacation, my kids go on vacation. There is rest, all right? The rest. And we made a rule in my house, right when our kids were very, very small, when they are toddlers. My wife and I agreed that our kids will not skip any class. Not one of them will skip any class. They're going to do primary 4, primary 5, primary 6. Nobody skips any class. And they're going to start primary 1 at 6 years. They're going to start primary 1 at 6. I remember when my daughter went to school, they were like, oh, so which school was she going before? I said, no, not school. She's at home. Whatever. I said, is it not? I remember my daughter came to me and said, oh, Daddy, I saw a boy. That's how she used to talk. I saw a boy wearing Pampers. While my daughter was quite mature at 6, she had people who were just 4 years old in primary. And I'm talking to parents because there's a lot of harm that we do to our children and we blame them afterwards. And I remember my son and my daughter, when they were in primary 5, there were maybe like 5 of them in school. 5 of them, they were in school. I said, don't worry, it's not about how far, it's about how well. You're going to catch up. So do your primary 5, do primary 6. Parents say, oh, that money that you'll have spent in primary 6, use it to pay secondary school. I say, I hear you, thank you very much, but no thanks, okay? And when they finish secondary school, our rule was that, listen, don't be in a hurry to go to university. Have a fallow year. Can you imagine your child schooling for 12 years of their life? Okay, no. 6, 3, right? more than 12 years of their life. Almost every other month they are in school, every year, whatever. Go rest after secondary school. So what they do, I told my kids, okay, go pick up things, learn how to do hair, learn how to barb hair, learn how to wash car, learn skills that will help you. And you won't believe it, my daughter is in second year university. Now we normally laugh about this as a family. She's supposed to be almost in her final year right now, but no thanks to coronavirus, ASU strike that refused to end. So she's in year 2. Even though my son should have been finishing NYC right now, but she's still in university also. But they are not giving me any stress. You know what? God, they are very busy. Even right now, my daughter is busy making money. She's a baker. So those skills that she makes so much money baking that she She gives me money. I remember one day my daughter was come and say, Daddy, do you need, oil change in your car? I said, nope. Do you need to buy fuel? I said, nope. Why are you asking? I'm just asking. Then the following day, I saw an alert of 30,000 naira in my account. I said, Ella, what's this? Say, just for you, just to say thank you for who you've been and whatever and every single thing. So the only thing I do is pay school fees, really. They take care of it. They buy their own clothes, they buy their own shoes and every single thing. My son models, he does. And by the way, he makes money playing video games. And some of parents don't know that. Oh, why are you playing video games? You know how many of you parents that were beaten because you are playing soccer? You too, they play ball. I have a parent in a class I taught who shared bitterly how the mom took knife and cut off his boots. And one time he was sleeping, he made marks on his feet because he didn't want him playing ball. Do you know how much soccer players make today? Can you imagine your son making 100,000 pounds a week? And you can imagine the same pressure we went through. We are putting the same pressure on our children. So let's first, like Zig Ziglar would say, or Brian Tracy, first understand before you want to be understood. Let's understand the world, the culture of our children, so that we don't do things that will make them to hate us to tomorrow. So rather than launching out and hard on social media, why don't you first understand what social media is and what they do? So sleep disorder, they hardly sleep. And to be frank, neither do we too, parents. We hardly, because right now we walk around the clock. I mean, working from home since 3 years had made me to actually work more. I work more right now. I multitask. So what I do is I try to catch sleep. Now, unfortunately, you cannot catch sleep. That's one. Every sleep time that you lose, you can never get it back. And sleep is the only time that you actually grow. That's where your body grows. That's why your cell multiply when you are at rest. So there's a lot of sleep disorder. Have you ever noticed that some your children stay up late at night and in the morning that's when they sleep? All right. So there is addiction. In a way, it is a factor that that has a very broad spectrum of effects on things requiring discipline, self-control. That is your schoolwork, your domestic chores, disorganized lifestyle. In my house, like this is April, so my son is in charge of house cleaning for this month. My daughter is in charge of the kitchen for this month. In the month of March, it was reversed. My son was in charge of the kitchen for 1 month. My daughter is in charge of the cleaning of the house. Of course, there's no need to say that when my daughter is in charge of the kitchen, that's when the food tastes better. But you see, but we have to give them some organizational structure. So even as life is pulling them, as parents, we must put some structure. They must be organized. They must learn when to sleep. They must learn when to wake up. They must learn to be domesticated. They must be domestic. They must learn how to cook. They must learn how to sweep. They must learn how to wash. They must learn how to also do their homework. So because of social media, that can be very distracting. What about moral and hazard? Maybe you might want to ask spiritual hazard. Pornography is one of the biggest threats today, when it comes to whatever. And of course, for parents also, so don't act like it's only your case. So let's talk pornography. Let's talk early sexual activity of our children. I remember in those days, the first time I saw a pornographic magazine, I can't remember, it was in the 80s. I don't know how did this, my friend, maybe got it from, I don't know, maybe from his dad or whatever, and we're like, wow, it was very embarrassing and shocking for me to see. And I remember I placed, Ojuelegba between Tejo Show Market and Ojuelegba. There's a place, maybe see, it's called Samako Records. And I used to go to Samako Records, that's those days when we were in college, we used to go there and dub. You say, okay, I want this, mix this stuff for me. It was decades later, and I'm not saying this, so I'm not sure if they're still there. And I found out that this record place has double layer. There's a first layer where we all see, where we have all those albums like this one. And how we have all these albums. Okay, I want this, the Whispers, I want Gap Band, and they will now dub it for you. Then the next level is where the DJ mixes. And after that, there's a third level. That's where they sell X-rated movies. And this were the days of the VHS movie. In those days, you don't find porn on the floor. You don't. But right now, pornography is right at the tip of everyone. So our children can, can watch pornography on their phone. They can watch it without anybody knowing, and they begin to develop some very huge sexual disorder, because the sexual orientation is not natural, it's not normal. And some of them are lured into various sexual fantasies. One of these I do, I don't have my masking tape here. One of the exercises I do for college students, university students, I get them together, then I tear masking tape and I put it at their back. I go around, put it at their back. Then I ask them to mingle. And as you're mingling, you are removing each person's masking tape and you're putting somebody else. After about 30 minutes or so, one of the things is that the masking tape is no longer holding anymore because he has lost the binder. And that is what happens when people are exposed to pornography. There's a hormone that is secreted in your brain. There's a hormone of attachment. The more it keeps being secreted to various people that you don't even know, that person will not be able to stay with one spouse. The same thing happens when people are patronizing commercial sex workers also. After a while, your attraction to one person will not just be there. And some people will say, okay, we have irreconcilable differences because you have secreted that, you have released that hormone to many people you don't even know who they are. Of course, there is the scare of LGBT plus. It keeps repeating, and I also counsel people who are same-sex attracted. So it's something that is raging like wildfire, right now. So with or without social media, those things are there, but social media has made them even much more accessible. So that's why we need to be concerned about the things that our children are doing. Now, financial management is one thing we need to look at. Financial management. Many of the people spend so much money. They spend so much money, especially on the internet, buying data. I remember on my birthday a month ago, my family had what we normally call living tributes, for me, where we just come and we share about the person. So my family had living tribute for us. And one of the things that my daughter said, Daddy, I want to thank you so much. He said, do you know how much I used to spend on data? Because I don't give them more money for that. They make their own money, so they buy their own data. What I do is to pay school fees. I used to spend so much money on data because she practically learned how to bake on YouTube. So what I did was to get Wi-Fi in the house, so that everyone can be connected and learn and socialize and be able to go to school and every single thing. So she was thanking me for just saving her all the headache of data. So sometimes our children, can imagine if they don't make money of their own and they are constantly buying that, data, they can begin to maybe steal or borrow money from all those Naira bet people or those whatever, and they won't be able to pay back. They can be distracted from their educational pursuits, their primary goal of going to school. They don't do their assignments because they are busy browsing the internet, they are busy solving the web, and they begin to do poorly. Then it also affects the fabric of the family. Now, have you ever been in a situation? I have, where you are in the living room with your children, all of them, and but you're not talking to one another. Father is there, mother is there, children are there, and we are all on the phone, not texting one another, texting people far away. When I realized, I was like, guys, what's happening? Can we all put our phones down, please? Let's talk. So I had to put down some rules, guys. Okay, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to be in the house and not be in the house. So a lot of distraction. Maybe it's happening in your house. Maybe it's not happening. There's a lot of mental effects, that it can have. People don't know how to communicate anymore, and the kind of friends they have are not the friends that can tell them something that they really need. Let me share a statistics from. I'm almost done, by the way, so please bear with me. Let me share a statistics. A statistics from this site is the Pornhub site. Okay, I'm sharing with you. Please don't go there. I only went on this site to get statistics. Please don't go there. In this site, you'll find out the top countries that actually deal in hub. Now, in porn, you look at other those countries. Now, you won't find Nigeria there, the top 20, usually whatever. But interestingly, something happened during the lockdown. People began to suffer because they were not playing ball outside. They were not going out. People were stuck in the house. And for some reason, NEPA was more faithful. People were now on the internet. And the people who were the biggest gainers, MTN, Airtel, and the rest, whatever, people were biggest gainers. Now, people now began to search all kind of things. Now, Pornhub, statistics, that year of countries that search for BBW, countries with BBW. And what is BBW? That is BBW stands for Big, Beautiful Women. And guess the country that was top on the list? Nigeria, followed by our next door neighbor, Ghana, followed by Kenya, followed by Egypt, mostly African countries, because those are the kind of physique that Africans are trying to. So a lot of people were searching for videos of women with big boobs, women with big backside, and they were watching all those stuff, whatever. And there's so much, so there's a lot of mental effects. There's a lot of psychological effects. So there's social isolation. When people are into porn, you see them, they begin to crawl away. There's something happening there because they are processing what they are saying. They don't feel connected to the people around them again. Sometimes they feel dirty with themselves. They feel so there's with social isolation, which brings to withdrawal from social activity. They begin to develop secret life. They begin to lie and deceive other people. They begin to have, they begin to become self-centered. Then they now begin to choose porn over real human beings. And there's a young man that I was getting together with. I was mentoring just about a month ago, the university, and he told me that he has a friend who doesn't see the need to have a girlfriend. He was like, "What do I need to when I can get them on the internet? Why do I have to go and whatever when I can get them on the internet, when I can satisfy myself on the internet?" So you can imagine the way they begin to. So there's also mood disorder. They have this feeling, this irritated feeling. They'll just snap it. And this is what they'll snap it. Are your children like that? Watch out, find out what's going on. There's feeling of anger, sometimes depression. So sometimes they have this passive anxiety, fearfulness, feeling of powerlessness. That's mood disorder. Then there's sexual. They begin to sexually objectify other people. When they see people, they don't look at them as human beings. They look at them as sex objects. They begin to treat people as sex objects. They begin to judge people primarily in terms of their body parts. Hey, look at this one, get this, whatever. Rather than just looking at people, whatever. They begin to look at them, body part. They begin to experience this mood swing. They begin to disrespect other people, other people's needs, other people's privacy. They become insensitive about sexual or sexually harmful behaviors. They just don't care anymore. Then they begin to engage in risky and dangerous behavior. That is accessing pornographic sites. Some of them will lose their jobs because they are distracted at work and at school. Lecture is going on and they are browsing the internet to look at pornographic sites because it becomes like another high. It's like smoking, another high. Whenever they are low, they just go to the internet so they can gain this high. They can gain erection. They can ejaculate. They begin to their private parts. They begin to access child abuse images. They begin to all those the abusing of children and everything. They begin to participate in dangerous, abusive, and violent and criminal sexual activities. There was a game that was very popular. I don't know about today. It's called what's the name called again? It's a game about someone who will just drive around and he can be beating up people on the street. I forgot what that game is called. So it was the time it was very popular. And my son, we were playing it. We were just like, we bought it. We're like, I said, Henry, I don't think this game is too violent. And what do? You go around driving around, reckless driving, whatever. And we deleted that. This was like 15 years ago. When those games were like, sorry, we're not going to do this stuff. So I was able to do that and help my son to think because I was involved in his life. They begin to develop relationship disorder. Their relationship begin to deteriorate. You'll find where you put two teenagers today, especially the male child, put them together, and they can't talk to one another. There's nothing to say. Two people, I mean, girls, it's easier for girls. Girls are watching TV and they're busy chatting all along. I was like, come on, guys, are you guys watching TV or you guys are talking? Don't worry. But boys will sit down and all they're doing is playing video game. They don't talk to one another. They're watching a movie and they are there. They don't talk to one another. They lose social skills. They become very unhappy. And they're going to take this into their married life, where they're going to have problems with their wives, or wives have problems with their husband, and they're going to develop sexual problem. A lot of them are going to have very early erectile dysfunction problem because they have been having sex with themselves, which is what is masturbation, and they are not going to be able to satisfy their wives, or in other words, they are not going to feel satisfied because of all these images, that they have filled up their minds with, they have engaged their minds with. I was counseling a young couple not too long ago, and the problem they had is that the husband wants the wife to do all the things that he has been saying on pornography, all the things, including blowjob and whatever. And like, I don't know how to do this, or like, that's what I want. So they now want somebody who's going to fulfill that. And if their wives can't do that, they have to go outside, to go and do that. And of course, there are going to be lots of interest in sex, with their real partners. They're going to have difficulty becoming aroused, by their real partners. They're going to have intrusive thoughts, fantasies, and images of porn during sex. They're having sex and they are thinking about something that they're going to see people as just sexual beings. They're going to look at them as real human beings. There's going to be an increase, interest in risky behavior, degrading behavior, abusive behavior, illegal behavior, illegal sex will go into their mind. They're going to be increase in interest in some of those things. They're growing dissatisfaction with sex. They're going to, is that all? This one will not be this one now, whatever. And they're going to have altogether sexual dysfunction. So there's a lot of my fellow coaches today, counselors today, who are really that is the niche, because that is based on the need of the hour. A lot of people today are having broken, challenged relationship in their home because of this thing called sex, because they've messed up themselves. Then they're going to have self-loathing. They're going to be a feeling of disconnection from people, disconnection from values, disconnection from real belief. They're going to be loss of personal integrity. Today, where are you? I'm coming. Where are you? I'm coming. They are home. They are home, because they feel that everything can be done instantly. So integrity is going down. Self-esteem will be damaged. They're going to be persistent feeling of guilt and shame, feeling of being controlled. Something is controlling that they cannot say. They're going to be neglecting important areas of life, like exercise, for example. When last time you saw children playing ball on the street, go to play basketball, go to play whatever, go to jog on the street, go to cycle, whatever. They just stay in one place. Very sedentary. They're going to affect their personal health, like we talk about sleep deprivation, exhaustion, poor self-care. They won't wash their clothes. They will not groom themselves. They will not barb their hair. They will not so many things. They will not know how to. How men will groom themselves. Ladies will take care of themselves, because they are busy processing things that they are saying. They're going to have their family life will be affected. Work and school pursuit will be affected. Finances will be challenged. Spirituality, not being religious. Spirituality will be challenged. Think of these days where we go to mosque and church at home, and people at home are just pumped. They just a click away, they are in church. After a while, they don't even know how to sing, how to worship, how to clap, how to dance. Those things that we do. So and there's going to be a craving for more. It's called an addiction, craving for more. Their difficulty controlling their thoughts, inability to disconnect porn use despite the negative consequences, because it's addiction. They're going to be repeated failure to stop using porn. They're going to be requiring more extreme content. I know some young people who have got to check in psychologists. Now, it's like being sick, you have to go see a doctor. More and more young people right now are visiting psychologists, mental health, whatever, because of all the things that they have done to themselves, either through smoking, bad friends, pornography, and all. There's a lot I can tell all of us, but I want to challenge us as a parent that it's time for us to act. It's never too late. So decide from day one what kind of home that you want to have. I had to do that. This is the kind of home my children will respect me. I will respect my children. My children will be respectable. We don't raise our voice in our home. We don't shout, we don't scream, we don't quarrel. We quarrel, but we don't raise our hands. They've never seen me, myself and my wife shouting and screaming at them. They've never seen that because we don't. We don't. My children don't disrespect me. They never disrespect me, and I don't disrespect them also. We teach them about money, management, about how to pick their friends, about how to emphasize people over things. Okay, sometimes our children are very materialistic. Parents celebrate 1 year birthday lavishly. I mean, if you want to, you can. 2-year birthday, 3-year birthday, 4-year birthday, 5-year birthday. We are living in a world where a child graduates from nursery school and is wearing the Ocean gown. So sometimes I've been invited to some of those parties where they say, "Oh, my child is turning 10," and I go there to drop off my kids, and I see parents. They have a big canopy for parents, canopy there with all the sharks, all the beer, whatever. And I found out that these parties are not really for the kids; they're actually for the parents. The parents are just trying to have their time, and parents want their children to live out their dream. They never live that. In my home, we don't do that. Both of my kids got admission. University of Lagos, first batch, straight. People didn't know that my son was at home for 2 years. If people found out, Henry at home, we're going to admission. I said, yes, but he didn't take it. So stay at home. What did he do? He went to look for a job. He learned to code, whatever. It was 3 years after that. He actually got an admission. He went to school. So he's more mature in school. So a lot of time we're pushing our children. Oh, you must finish secondary school at 10 years old. You must enter university or whatever. I have a parent who call me once and say, "Oh, do you know anybody University of Lagos? Oh, my daughter passed JAM. So why is she not in?" And they said that she's too young. She's 16 for crying out loud. 16. I said, "You will not take her 16." I have a friend of mine who sent his son to you won't believe it, to private university at 14. At 14. So what are we doing to ourselves? Not because the child is, even if they're genius, let your children grow up normally. Let's emphasize godliness over worldly pursuits. Let us place emphasis on things that really, really count. Let's watch out that you're not pressuring your children to live out your own fantasies. Parents, you need to be united in disciplining your children. Not when the father will say, "Junior, sit down." And if I say, "I know, I come and help me get this one." I mean, Junior's mind will like, okay, mommy has more power, whatever. Let your children know you are united in this place. Seek input, parents, from those who are doing well. Push to be the one that is doing well so you can help other parents. Don't cover up things in your children's lives. Seek help. There is help. There is help. There is a lot of people you can find professional help. Don't use any failed parenting or weak social structure as an excuse for you to not do well. You have to do well because the life of your children depend on it. There's so much, like I said, that that we can share. My number is there. If you feel that you need to talk to me one-on-one, those of you who are just joining, you can go back and view this recording, and we're going to give you the link to recording. But there's something we need to really look at. So it's 9 minutes to 9. We started late. We're supposed to have started like 7 o'clock to 8, but we started very late, almost like 1 hour or so late. But this is where I would like to pause at this time. Let's take some feedback at this time. Let me hear your comments, feedback. Are there things you don't agree with? You can share here. There are 2 ways you can share. You can unmute yourself and just speak, or you can type it on the chat box. Are there things you don't agree with? Are there things you agree with? Are there things you want me to reiterate? Are there things you felt I went overboard? I was sensitive. Are there areas you need help? Let us share at this time. So thank you for listening, dear parents, and those of you who have joined. Maybe there are a few young people who are here also, but this is where I'll stop and we'll ask questions. I know I've said a lot, and I know there's a lot that you are trying to maybe digest, and I also understand that. So I'm going to ask Mr. Adefolu to coordinate this period, this time, and if you don't have any Q&A, any question, we'll just call it a day and we'll go have some fun. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, Mr. Aime. It's been a very explicit class. Honestly, I just pity those who miss, because if it's not Panadol, it's never Panadol. Because even though they are going to be listening or watching the recording, but the truth of the matter is that when you get it firsthand, you are much encouraged and you are empowered. I really want to thank you so much on behalf of DANSOL Father for doing this. I know that we can't pay you because you are an awesome facilitator, no doubt about it. We just pray that we'll be able to bring you physically to our midst where mothers will also be so that they can also learn. I really want to thank you so much. So over to you all, fathers in the house. Do you have any question? Please just unmute and just ask your question. And if there's any comment also, feel free to also say anything you want to say. It's been a very enlightening class, I must say. Thank you very much. So over to you, parents. Do you have any question? Please, let's ask. I'll take it that our fathers in the house have actually understood.
Hello. Good morning, sirs.
Good morning, sir.
Excellent and awesome session so far. Thank you so very much for the facilitator. I just posted something on the chat. I was wondering if we could have more of these practical sessions of how to build, excellent relationship with the children, especially as we are in this world where a lot of things are happening so very, very fast. Before your children sometimes are the one telling you, Daddy, have you seen this movie? Daddy, have you checked this thing out? So it's pretty much very good, to have a practical session of how you can really manage these different, challenges or situations that are coming up, especially in a godly way, to direct them, to pin, to provide guidance for them in line with what the Word of God says. We see situations many times when children will be saying, why did this happen? Why did God do this? And they just want to learn more. In a way, you need the wisdom of God, to be able to present these things to them. So it would really be good if we can have this series as a series, maybe once in a month or once in 2 weeks. Just be picking 1 or 2 areas where we can talk more about things like this. I've really been blessed today. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, so there are actually a few mothers who are in house. So mothers, you are welcome. Please don't go anywhere. The fathers who are here, who are supposed to be here, are the fathers who are home alone. Okay, because their wives have gone out to go hang out and enjoy themselves in a retreat somewhere. Mothers, if you are here, you are here. And I'm sure this video, when the mothers come by, they're going to watch this video. It's very, very important. Thank you so much for the question that was just asked right now. It's very, very key. And I think it's something that we can always do. Mr. Wolabi, you are saying something? Mr. Wolabi, you are saying something? Your hand is... Okay, please go ahead.
So I was going to ask that, how do we get government to force schools to reduce social clubs like Boy Scout, Boys Brigade, the kinds of activity, outgoing activity, exercises? I mean, I think a lot of schools in our own days, we spent a lot of time at schools, and both the academic and the non-academic were equally important. But today, all the schools are putting their attention only on academic, only. And this is very sad. Even things like inter-house sports and many other things that are part and parcel of school life are being put at the back burner. So with a lot of things that you have said, we have to think of counteractive measures. You know, one of the things I would have loved is, while we have spoken about all of these challenges and pitfalls and the risks, we need to start coming up with solutions, counteractive measures, you know, advocacy groups and things that can reverse this situation. And I think this is very critical to this sort of conversation.
Yes, you are very, very correct. I was a Boy Scout, by the way. I left the Boy Scouts as a troop leader, and there was a lot I learned about tying ropes, about you know, how to treat burns, how to treat fracture, semaphore, Morse code, all those stuff. You know, investiture. We did investiture. We had to dress well and every single thing. Unfortunately, like you said, people have put there's so much on academics. I think it's the job of the parents. Parents need to stand up. Like I said, when my kids were in school, we don't do all this summer class, whatever. I said, stay at home and just be happy. If you have 2 months rest, why is the rush? There's so much rush. There's so much, you know, and it's the parents. If you go deep down, it's the parents. The parents encourage them, and there's some level of insecurity amongst parents. Okay, well, my child finished secondary school at 10 years or whatever, they are them rushing or whatever. How much can one bring? You know, like you said, it has sports. We had the literary and debate society. We had the lit days where we go from school to school. They have lits, and we learn how to dance. I learn how to rap. Over there, we have the principal corps, which is where a lot of people were actually, discovered. You know, for the Nuga game, we have Nuga game. Even one is also going on University of Lagos right now. No, I'm not sure maybe it's still on. You know, but there's so much. I don't do that. I don't focus on those academics. I think parents need to be secure. It is out of insecurity that many parents allow the schools to do that. Let me tell you another thing again. My kids, when my son was in secondary school, I don't want to mention the name of the school. And so we had this PTA. By the way, parents should attend PTA meeting. So especially the men, so I went to this PTA meeting, and it was before the long vacation. And so they brought these nice educational institutes, and they gave us flyers that these institutes are very good. They train Cambridge, they train these A-levels. They will, your child will pass WAEC at first attempt, will pass JAM, whatever. And then they were going to charge us 45,000 naira for that summer holiday. And they were going to use the school as a base to do whatever there. And they were mesmerizing us. So I put my hand up, and it's a hall of almost maybe 300 parents or more, 500 parents, a very big hall. And I took them before. I said, well, if this institution is as good as they claim they are, so why can't they train our teachers so that teachers can be doing this work? Why do you have to pay school fees, then pay whatever? But you could have heard a pin drop. Again, we are in a society where we don't like to speak the truth, because that institution is paying the school to use the school facility as a base, and the school is advertising on their behalf. In other words, you are telling me that this school is not good enough. Another school to come and help my child pass JAM in first attempt. You see, it is the lack of integrity in parents. The same thing we do with spirituality in religion. The same thing we do with politics. We see black, we call it blue. We allow terrible things to go, and we begin to blame the government. I said, sorry, no, I'm not going to support this. Of course, people, their face went down because, the principal didn't like what I said. What I've said. If this, then why can't you just train teachers, and the teacher will become the best to train every student? Why must I pay an additional 45,000 naira for on summer when my child should also to be hanging out, playing at home and resting to school? So parents, it is your fault. It is my fault. I just told you how in my home we said our children will start primary 1 at 6 years old. It is my decision. It's my decision. But parents are going to get insecure about that. I told you how I said, listen, man, if you finish secondary school, don't be in a hurry to enter university. Rest, learn a trade. Parents will not agree, to that. They will not turn around and say, oh, my child. Somebody said, oh, my child went to school and joined courts. Why won't you join courts? Because it's too immature. He can't stand by himself. Some people are worried. In University of Lagos, I know a parent who I found out a child, the father will bring her to school in the morning, and the mother will come and pick her up in university. Why? Because the child is very immature. So then why are you pushing your child out? So, like you said, maybe we need to have this as a series. Talk to parents. There's a lot we can share about parenting. There's a lot we can share about understanding this generation. There's a lot we can share about how to effectively discipline your children, not abuse them. There's a lot we can share about drug addiction, about how to know the mood of your child, their vocal ability. There's a lot we can talk about, even dyslexia. Some children are dyslexic, and you don't even know. And you call them Olodo. And by the way, I'm born dyslexic. I'm born dyslexic. So the children, they're going to have problem in handwriting. They're going to have problem in their speech, their vocal ability. They're going to have problem in reading, in early childhood development or whatever. But you need to learn some of those things. And most of our schools are not equipped to do this job. Most of the teachers, none of them study early childhood education, for example. Some of them are not even educationists, for crying out loud. Some of them are very good at what they do. Maybe they study biology, chemistry, but not education on how to pass knowledge. So a lot of time you have a teacher who knows a lot, who doesn't know how to pass this learning. A teacher knows a lot, but doesn't know how to teach. Have you watched Chinese children do maths? Japanese children, it's not the same way they taught us. 1, 2, 3, carry water, and finger maths. There are new ways to do things today. So I think the orientation is first from the home. What kind of home do you want? It's not the school that will train my child. It is me. It is me. And the father must be in the forefront. Sometimes as parents, we are busy making money. We are busy making money and making money and making money. That we don't even know where the money is going. So I support what you're saying. I think it needs to be a series as often as we can, where the mothers, and it's going to be very fun. If the mothers were invited to this thing officially, if they are now out on camping and whatever, I'm sure they would have dragged all the men down here. Two are better, than one. We look at the development stage of people, the right brain, the left brain, how children develop, the things that are factors in proper development of a child. These and many more are things that we can discuss either virtually or face-to-face in a meeting. And the future is bright. The future is bright. We can learn and we can encourage one another. Okay, so sorry, that's a long answer to a short question.
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, we have some few mothers there on the platform, and one of them have actually raised a concern that our husband has never been to PTA meeting, and that is the more reason why
has never missed. Say husband has never missed a PTA. Missed,
very good one.
Yeah.
The good thing about
the only father there. That's it.
Yes, and for me as well, I'm also very, very interested in the children, and I'm always at the PTA meeting. And it's also a way to actually connect with the school, because not just coming to PTA meeting alone, also going once in a while to the school just to find out how they are doing. And then that way also you can feedback from their class teacher or even from their subject teacher. The good thing about DANSOL is that DANSOL has created a platform where we can actually interact with the teachers. It's called an open day, where we look at their books and we actually find out what exactly are the challenges of our son or our daughter, especially with respect to certain subjects. These are some of the avenues that has been put in place in DANSOL. And I think we can still take it a step higher by also making sure that we lend our voice to so many of these things. But by and large, you said something very, very key. And that is the fact that we cannot leave our children to the school to train them for us. We as parents must be united to raise our children. Come to think about it, they spend just about 8 hours in school, and the rest of hours they spend at home. But even from the rest of hours, there's a commuting time also. And by the time we are also coming back from work, how many hours do we actually have with them? So it is important that as parents, we are deliberate about the time we need to have with our children. It's not just saying, oh, I just got back from work at 10 o'clock. The children, they are sleeping. Next morning, we are out again and we're working. Like you rightly said, a lot of us parents are just working. We don't even know where the money is going. We have become like a ATM that just drop the money, and then we say we are working. But why are you working? Are you not working for the better future of these children? I'd like to thank you once again, Mr. Eme. This has been very explicit, I must say. It's an eye-opener, and we just to have you at another time when we call you, when we're going to be having a fuller house. I don't know whether there's any other question or any other comment from any other parent before we call it a day.
Looks like that's a wrap. It's 9 o'clock already.
Okay. I'd like to thank all the parents that actually were connected. I must say that we are so grateful once again. Silver or gold, we don't have to give it, but what we have, we will continue to share with you, and that is we continue to pray for you, that God will continue to grant you more wisdom to develop more classes that can help us, because we're going to need you more as parents of DANSOL. Thank you very much. Parents, I'd like to thank you so much for this. I agree. We're going to be having more of these series on a regular basis. And Mr. Eme is a very busy personality, but we're going to be begging him, if we're going to be doing it very early like this before it gets busy in the day, we're going to be bringing him on board more regularly. Thank you very much, Mr. Eme, and thank you very much, parents, for being attentive and learning session. We'll receive the video and we're going to share it on the platform. That we're not around, we'll also get a tip of what we have today. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Eme. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me. All right. Thank you for having me. We're going to end recording now, and we're going to send you